You don't raise your children the way we do. I mean, a 9-year-old boy in Gaza is more of a man than a 25-year-old in America. You prolong adolescence to an absurd degree. You don't prioritize maturity, but at the same time, you sexualize your children very early. I mean, you've got like third graders twerking, and singing explicit song lyrics, and then you put that on social media for everyone to see. You're teaching kindergartners about sex, masturbation, about homosexuality and transgenderism. You think that prepubescent children can decide to have their genitals removed before they even know what they're actually for. You put little girls in beauty contests and try to turn them into, miniature Beyoncés and Cardi B's singing about WAP. I mean, 12%, I saw a study, 12% of 12-year-olds in the US are already sexually active at 12. Now, 6.5% of them had actually already engaged in anal sex by the age of 12. The majority of sex offenders in the West victimize children, and they say about 90% of sexual assaults on children are never even reported. So imagine what the real numbers are. No, you have a pedophilia problem in the West. And no matter how much you wish you could, you can't shift that over to us. We're not going to help you justify your sickness.
I followed the laws of the country, but once I seen that these motherfucking pedophiles and these senators and shit, they don't get locked up, and I seen that these motherfuckers import all the drugs and the guns, and I seen that shit with my own too. I'm like, honoring shit, nigga. When I seen that this motherfuckers out here that don't pay taxes, and they rich as fuck, like I know people that's rich as fuck that don't pay taxes. I ain't gonna say their name. I ain't gonna fuck it up for them. But guess what? You got me fucked up. I'm not paying shit, nigga. You hear me? You see what I'm saying? When I found out that they be drinking our blood, when I found out that every motherfucking missing person, I thought they just go, motherfuckers really go missing. But when I found out that nobody ever went missing and every single missing person ever was really them kidnapping them, killing them, and eating them, remembered rather, because we already know this. When I remembered that, do you know that like I say, nobody that died that you ever buried, they not in there. They're not in the ground. They're not in the ground at all. You can go dig that shit up yourself. I got $1,000 for you. You dig it up right now. I guarantee you it ain't no bones in that bitch. I guarantee you ain't see no bones in that bitch. It should at least be some bones in there still, right? If their body was down there, right? Or you gonna say all the bones got ate by the worms, nigga? Nigga, it ain't gonna be a box in there, nigga. It ain't gonna be a box in there, nigga. I bet you ain't even a casket in there. A box. None of that. See, when I found that out, like, damn, the motherfuckers that run the world is really the real criminals. You don't hear me? When I found out that the motherfuckers in power that run the world, that make the law, are the real criminals, boy, I ain't honoring shit. Y'all got me fucked up, nigga. You hear me? You hear me? You hear me?
Listen to this.
This is how you know you're the chosen one. And no, everybody is not selected to be a chosen one. Chosen one is a person that's really pretty much selected on this planet to handle certain assignments. Pretty much like help people, you know what I mean? Like help other chosen ones to be healed, or just other people that just got lost in the matrix type shit. Like to know that you're a chosen one, like your childhood, 9 out of 10, your childhood was pretty much difficult growing up. You may have abandonment issues. Like you feel like you're being overlooked by your family. You never really fit in. You're mad different from your siblings. Like you see things and new things other people didn't. There's always something about you people don't like about you, but it's never a reason why they don't like you. Growing up, you always get hurt by the people you try to help. You're always considered as like you're weird or you're crazy. You like being alone because you feel like you can't relate to people. Bugs and animals vibrated to you. Like even if you're scared of them, like you have this type of energy with them that nobody could like understand. As more you grow and you turn into an adult, you become more quiet. You become isolated. You really don't deal with people much. You learn to love from a distance because you can't play fake. You attract strangers no matter where you go. You always under attack, even if you staying out the way and you trying to do everything right. People always try to feel.
Present that to y'all. So initially we had planned to make the speech to law enforcement, but since they're a no-show, we're going to make it to y'all. So members of the media, the public, my brother's standing here in arms today, law enforcement that is probably stalking this right now, and whoever else cares to listen. Why are we here? Today, August 19th of 2023, many of us young men of Virginia who have either been in war or served our country have a grievance against the Sheriff's Office of Gloucester County, Virginia. In 2021, this Sheriff's Office, among many other Sheriff's Offices in the state of Virginia, vowed to be a Second Amendment sanctuary, promising to preserve the very amendment that protects our Constitution and our homeland. In recent months, they have enforced unconstitutional laws and invented new offenses to satisfy their desire to control this country's politics, including the arrest of 4 citizens lawfully exercising their right to carry a weapon, one of which is actively serving this great nation. When I say the word lawfully, I mean in accordance with the rights protected by the Constitution and without regard to any supposed law that contradicts those rights. These men have fallen victim to weaponized politics. Concerned for the community, they attended a school board meeting at an office facility that, according to zoning laws, is a government facility. And after the speech given by a community member peacefully addressing the misuse of power by members of the school board and the use of politically motivated violence by an elected official prior to that meeting, all 4 men exited the building peacefully and quietly to return to their daily lives. They were immediately and without provocation confronted by sheriff's deputies who then asked them if they were armed. In the following discussion, it was determined that they were in fact carrying weapons in accordance with their rights. All handguns were confiscated, and less than 3 days later, felony warrants were issued for their arrest. All of this transpired because they spoke up against the misuse of power in Gloucester County, and Sheriff Warren felt the need to protect his corrupt cronies. Seeing this misuse of power repetitively across Virginia, beginning with the General Assembly's special session in 2020 that passed unlawful acts of armed control, has led me to believe this: the law and the creator of the law are not the direct issue. The ones who enforce the law are the most basic threat to our liberty when they abuse their power, as Sheriff Warren has done. For without this arm, this weapon, this blue boot, the law has absolutely no power. Hypothetically, if China were to invade us, we wouldn't take the fight to their Politburo, we would fight their infantrymen, the boots on the ground. When it comes to the law has no power until it's enforced, and so our problem is with law enforcement who chooses to enforce corrupt laws that violate the Constitution. In days of old, our forefathers repeatedly begged that their grievances be solved. They cried to the king, they cried to Parliament. The king answered by deploying troops to occupy homes, steal arms and money, and murder dissidents and protesters, as we see repeatedly across the U.S. today. This is why our founders warned us of professional men-at-arms enforcing the government's will, and yet somehow supposed freedom-loving Americans have continually given up rights and freedoms to the very standing army that strips away our rights in the name of earning a living, out of control, rogue law enforcement. Today I'm not here to beg, and I am not here to cry. I'm not here to question their authority. I'm here to completely and unequivocally deny the very legitimacy of its existence. I'm here to do this. I'm here to remind every man and woman that wishes to breach our Constitution that many of us vehemently swore an oath to defend, to remind you that we are awake. We are ready, we will fight, and we will die. We will do everything within our power to defend those rights enshrined within the Constitution. We will not attack anyone, but we will always defend ourselves if attacked. To the officers that are watching this, you violated the Constitution of the United States. Someday you will answer for these violations. If not before man, you will answer to it before God. You disgust us. You are not our brothers. You have no right to fly our flag. You have no right to be an American. You are Tories, redcoats, and not patriots. You have no right to live off of our taxes. You have no right to wear a uniform funded by the very people you abuse. You're a disgrace to liberty. If you wish to embrace ideals of freedom, lay your badge down. Step away from being the boot that continues to oppress and stand for real liberty. Return the property you've stolen, resign your positions, and find a living that doesn't involve abusing innocent people. To the men standing here today with me and to the state of Virginia, this is not about us and this is not about them. This is about the future that we want for our children. If we give an inch on our rights today, our children will be a mile away from their rights tomorrow. Too many people have drawn their line at door-to-door confiscation, forgetting that the other side will simply enforce whatever laws are handed down to them that they wish to enforce, and restrict us 1 inch at a time, chipping away our rights 1 step at a time. I implore all of you, Virginia, to stand up as you stand today, to continually hold the line here in Virginia. We must not let this state fall. Our fathers didn't stand up and speak when jackbooted thugs abused their neighbors. Now we stand up and speak so our children don't have to. I don't want bloodshed. I don't want war. I've seen war. I've been in war. I don't want any of that. But I promise you, I will fight a war if I need to protect our children's future. For freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction, and we are that generation. I embrace the pain for preservation of freedom. If it must happen, let it begin with us. For what is my life against our nation's future? What is it? It's nothing. Sic Semper Tyrannis, that's on our state flag, it's our state seal, and it means thus always the tyrants. And it means that as long as tyrants continue to use the law to oppress innocent civilians who gave a peaceful speech and walked out, returning to their cars, going on about their daily lives, if they continue to oppress, we will stand. We will defend it. I love this country. I love this nation. We will get a lot of hatred for this, and we'll get a lot of love for this, but at the end of the day, we're doing what's right because we love our Constitution, and I will die for my Constitution. I am sick of being tread on. I am sick of the fact that our fathers did not stand up. And so now we have to, so our children don't. And so I implore the state of Virginia, stand now. It's on you. Stand up. Sic Semper Tyrannis, thus always the tyrants. Thank you. And I will take questions. Yes, ma'am.
It's actually the RFID chip. RFID stands for Radiant Force Field Identification. We are in the spiritual age, okay? So you are an electrical being. The spirit is electricity, all right? The soul is magnetism. They understand that the Kundalini energy is rising not only on the planet, but within each and every vessel, especially the gods, the Atlantean gods, your aboriginal beings, the indigenous ones, your black and Latino individuals, all around the land, okay? They understand this. So they need to eliminate the target. You are the target, but they cannot eliminate you unless they identify you. Okay? They used to use nanobots. They've been using nanobots since the 1900s, but we are rising in our spiritual development is at such a level that the nanobots are melting because we are heating up within. The Kundalini energy rises, the warmer it gets, the warmer we get, the stronger we get. All right? So you have to understand that you have 7 chakras. They go along the base of your spine, right? Each chakras, each one is a door. You're supposed to open the door, all right? So imagine you trying to get in your house, but you got all this debris and shit in front of your door. You can't get in your house, right? You got to clean the debris up so you can open the door and walk in your house. Well, it's the same thing with your chakras. You have to open each chakra so that you can let the cosmic vibratory energy into the chakra and the spiritual energy into the chakra. And you can escape also through these chakras. So you have a lot of 1 minute left. A lot of people don't know the truth about the chakras, right? So they say things like, oh, well, get out of your root chakra, but they really mean get out of your lower self, all right? So you got to understand that they want to identify your force field. They want to identify your force field, okay, so that they can detonate you. These chips will detonate. These chips will also be used to...
Hope y'all been paying attention to that media gang, because this guy has went viral for talking about the reason that there's so much violence at black parties and functions. Take a look.
Y'all know why the vibe be so off in some of the black clubs, man. We really be in there trying to have a good time listening to 30 straight serial killer songs. Like, we really in there trying to have a good time and vibe out to murder music. We in there hypnotized. We damn near all done lost somebody to violence. That's why we all in there on the verge of socking some shit. We keep listening to serial killer music. These young mad ass talk about hitting somebody with a switch. Man, 30 clip, slide. Man, we in there drunk. We really hypnotized listening to this devil. I ain't gonna lie, like, I don't like some of the music, but it be like, man, how's we partying, trying to have a good time listening to murder music? This psychopath for real. Like, man, we gotta start switching it up, man. And something gotta change, because that really, like...
I really can't agree more, because the amount of violent drill music that we hear on a regular basis is just completely out of hand. In fact, it's oversaturated. Every region in the United States has their own form of drill music. Let's not forget each continent. There's so much pollution in the music industry that we have to resort to hearing constant songs about sliding somebody. So now my question for y'all is, Do you think that there's way too much violent music out right now that is definitely impacting how black people are acting at these functions? You let me know in the comment section, gang.
I work for a large hospital system in Broward County, Florida, on the anesthesia team. Last night, the house nurse manager came to my department and told us that we must prepare for a COVID crisis that's going to start next week. And the hospital will be taking part of our recovery unit, anesthesia recovery unit, to house COVID patients. And that we cannot allow surgical patients' families to come visit them, which we do pre and post surgery, pre and post anesthesia. And I looked at her and I said, how do you know you're going to need our room, our bays? And how do you know there's going to be a crisis next week? She tilted down her glasses, she looked at me, and she said, you know what's going on by now. And I said, yeah, I do. And everyone else just went, oh, here we go again, and shrugged their shoulders. Does anyone else find this really strange besides me? It's about time that this whole corrupted, stinking system is brought down. Seriously. Because I'm really hating my job right now. I can't stand this corruption anymore. Please share.